Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Haloyim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Makakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the brothers that are laboring in truth and sincerity. This lesson is going to be called 7 Heads, 10 Horns, and the Beast, ... question mark. This is stemming from Revelations 13:1. So I'm going to get Revelations 13:1. So basically we're going to be breaking down what are the 7 heads, or what is the 7 heads, the 10 horns, and the beast. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. I'm gonna read that again. Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. So, to the average person, when they read Revelations 13:1, and they see the words "a beast rise up out of the sea," if you don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, you will automatically think that beast was some type of sea animal. But that beast, having 7 heads and 10 horns, is not an actual beast. It's not an actual animal or sea animal, or So we're gonna break down what are the 7 heads. The 7 heads is NATO, and NATO means North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The 10 horns is the EU, and together they make up the beast. So NATO and the EU is an alliance between North America and Europe, okay? And together they create the beast, which is spoke about right here in Revelations 13:1. Okay? Now, the beast, that whole alliance between NATO and EU, it's not talking about a literal beast. It's talking about a group of men, a congregation of men, Edomite men, to be more specific, who control basically the whole earth, right? So if we skip over to Revelation 6:4, and it reads, and there went out another, Salakia, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So who is that him who was given power to take peace from the earth, and also was given a great sword? Or through the spirit, we know that him is Esau Edom, right? That was Esau's blessing in Genesis. I believe that was Genesis the 27th chapter. His blessing was the sword. Now you gotta think. Since Esau has been in rulership, how has he conquered the whole earth? He's conquered the whole earth through raping, robbing, and pillaging, murder. You know, by spilling the blood of other nations of people. To be more specific, Israelites. But Esau will even kill his own people. Okay? So I'm going to read that one more time. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So Esau's blessing is the sword. And when you think about that, it makes perfect sense. America is feared, or it's not really feared anymore because the other nations are rising up. But America is mostly feared because of their their military power. Because of what they did to Hiroshima, Nagasaki, where they nuked those people over there. You know, now the Most High is raising up other nations, and they're having nuclear capabilities. But prior to these other nations having that power, Esau, Edom, America, NATO, their power is the sword. If you think about it, these Edomites, just your regular everyday Edomite, they're in love with their sword. You know, they train their children from a young age to shoot. They love guns. You know, that was Esau's blessing, the sword. Who are most of the school shooters? What is their nationality biblically? Biblically, they're Edomites. Most school shooters or mass shooters are Edomites. I would say 95% of mass shooters are Edomites, if not more. So Esau's blessing was the sword, and we're going to prove that. In Genesis 27 and 38. Give me a second while I get that. Genesis 27. Yeah, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 38. And this was after Jacob was given the birthright. Esau went to his father, Isaac, and he cried out. You know, he was upset. So Genesis 27 and verse 38, and it reads, And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So he lifted up his voice and he cried, you know. Kind of like what a little ass kid do when they, you know, let's say I got two daughters. If I give one daughter something and don't get her other daughter, then one of them, whichever one didn't receive, will cry. What about me? You know, and that's what Esau did when he cried to Isaac. Genesis 27 and 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven above. So what is the fatness of the earth? These wicked elites, these Edomites, their blessing was the fatness of the earth. They live in the best places, you know. Even the smaller Edomites, they live in the best neighborhoods, right? And of the dew of the heaven from above. Verse 40. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So when it says, and by the sword shalt thou live, that's how Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom, has attained everything. By the sword. Now, what's the modern day sword? Because we don't fight hand-to-hand combat no more. Esau too much of a coward to fight hand-to-hand combat anyway. You got to do everything from a distance, right? So what's the modern day sword? If you're going into combat, it would be military weapons, machine guns, pistols, nuclear ICBM missiles, right? And so that's how Esau has attained everything, Now NATO and the EU, they got an alliance together, And so since Esau was given a sword, let's see. We're going to go back to Revelations 13 and 9. So since Esau's blessing was the sword, what does the Most High have to say about that? Revelations 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Now here's the part we want to listen for right here. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So we've been suffering trauma at the hand of Esau, Edom, for how long? We've been suffering trauma. Salakia, I'm trying to do a video. I got two Jakes riding past my car trying to see if anybody in here. Yeah, Jake be nosy. Well, where was I? Salakia. Yeah, so he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So Esau, Edom, their blessing was the sword, but ultimately, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. Okay? So their blessing is their downfall. It's going to be their downfall. Right? And so we're going to prove that. Because when Yahweh Shai returns, he's going to dethrone Esau, Edom. Let's see, Daniel 7. Ezekiel. Salakia, bear with me. So Daniel chapter 7, verses 11 and 12. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. So it's telling you right there. The beast will be slain and his body will be destroyed and given to the burning flame. What is that burning flame? How's America going to be destroyed? North America. ICBM nuclear missiles, that's right. And verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time. So North America is going to be destroyed, but all of the Edomites are not going to be destroyed. because some of them are going to be preserved, like it said right here, yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time, going to be preserved for when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah return and they go into captivity. Yeah, because just like Revelations 13:9 said, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Right? Now let's prove that these Edomites are going into captivity. Psalms 149. Salakia. This is the book of Psalms 149, verses 5 through 9. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praise of Yahweh be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen. Who are the heathen? These nations that are not part of the 12 tribes, they're all heathen nations, right? And punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. So who are the saints that are gonna bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of irons? The saints are the elect. The elect are gonna do that. So North America is going to be destroyed by ICBM nuclear missiles. And then when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah come, the elect is going to round up the rest of these fucking heathens. And they're going to go into captivity, man. They got 1,000 years of captivity to serve, you know. So, and that's prophecy. So if you go back to Revelation 13:9, I'm going to get that one more time. Revelations 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the patience and the faith of the saints are the elect. We patiently waiting for this prophecy to come to pass, and we got faith in it. You know, we've been suffering at the hand. The world, really, the earth has been suffering at the hand of Esau and Edom, NATO and the EU. You know, these countries, these heathen countries, you know, that come together to keep the 12 tribes, to keep Israel oppressed. Well, now is the time that we waking up to who we are, to our to who our power is, Salakia. And we gonna be redeemed at the hand of the Most High, man. We gonna receive recompense on these heathens, and we gonna put these heathens in chains. And so, that's the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The 7 heads is NATO. The 10 horns is the EU. And together they create an alliance. That's an alliance between North America and Europe. And together they create the beast, this beast system. This is the way we live, the way business is conducted every day. This is the beast. And ultimately, this beast system plans to implement the mark of the beast, which is that RFID chip, which we know through the spirit we're not supposed to receive, you know? So with that being said, I just wanted to break down real quick Revelations 13:1 and get a couple precepts to support it. Hopefully this video was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. Barakatah. Barakatham to all you Akim out there. Stay up. Shalom.